And so we both in it?
Yeah, we're both in
Okay.
it.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome. Oh, I'm sitting on something.
Welcome to the podcast. So we have what are we doing, Jesus? Do we really know?
This is truly a test just to
Yes.
see how well everything goes with the
Yes.
podcast and with um with Elite Therapy,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could actually be interviewing you right now.
Okay.
Let me do that.
All right. So for starters, what time is it?
I don't know what time is it.
It's 6:45.
Yes.
Thanksgiving Eve. I know you just heard the kids in the back. It's real life though.
Right.
And I had some cashews to eat, and that's all I'm on today.
Just
So we
cashews.
were, yeah, I mean, today has been a day. Let's get it, E. Let's get it. Let's get it. We rolling, we thugging it. That's
We-
just how it is.
Yeah, we thugging it
Yeah.
all day, thugging it and loving it. And so we
I like that.
I came down to help out Ariane and which I like to call Yanni. Help out
Yes.
Yanni. And
From Dallas.
I know, all the way from Dallas, from DFW, because I believed in what your goals were with this. I'm not gonna make you cry. I
I
promise.
know, but I'm still. I literally just found this out, by the way.
Right.
I thought you came like an hour and a half.
Like an hour and some change ago
Oh
from
my
from Baton
God.
Rouge.
Yeah, I thought you were close.
That's all right though, because again, I'm here.
Yeah.
We came down to make sure everything is good. We got the video working. Hey, people at YouTube land and all that good stuff. This is a makeshift option
insane.
right here.
Yeah.
But as time progresses, it's going to get better and better. You're going to have
Yeah.
more guests on here, more interviews, more conversations with people in terms of therapy and how it benefits them in the
Yeah.
community,
I'm
especially in
so
the Black
excited about
community.
that.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
how long have you been doing this?
For about
I know, right?
about 15 minutes.
About 15 minutes, right?
As far as the podcast though, but like mental health therapy, I professionally for about 7 years now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, about 7 years now professionally. But honestly, I've been doing advocacy and intervening and de-escalating and be president of a peace tree since like elementary, middle school.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, yeah. Like I've always been the go-to. Just ask Yanni. Tell Yanni. Yanni, what would you do? Just like always the person to kind of problem solve, conflict resolution. I've been that person my whole life, but
Right.
professionally
Right.
since 2015.
So you can, I guess it's safe to say you were kind of born into this.
Yeah, and when people ask a question like, "What made you want to get into mental health?" My answer is the same. Like it got into me. It's just, God chooses whoever He's gonna give His gift to. You got painting, you got music, you got therapy, you have giving, you have teaching.
Teaching,
the
right.
gift is the gift.
Right.
So it's given from God.
I think the beauty in that is utilizing the gift that you receive, right? So,
That part.
because once it's one thing to have the gift,
Yeah.
and we already know how that goes. Like you can have the gift and everything, but if you don't utilize the gift, then it's almost like it's like you feel like something isn't completing your life.
It's
Right.
weird.
It is, right?
It is. It's like I don't know, like a knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Like something just didn't feel right. Cause even before, like my past, I sing
Yeah.
right. I know how to sing. I know how to hold a note, child.
God,
Let's
whatever.
Just call it
No.
that thing.
To this day, still one of the absolute best singers I've ever heard in my life, and I'll take that to the bank.
Oh my God. But like even through singing, I felt like I was good. Don't get me wrong, but it was never a knowing. As confident as I appear to be singing, it's just different for therapy, you know. And I'm just so grateful to be confident in this.
In this, right?
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I don't get burnt out. I don't get, nervous. I don't get those things. I don't know, it's just so natural. I don't experience burnout when it comes to therapy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just different. It's a knowing.
Right, and I get it. There was one thing I remember when you and I had a conversation
Yeah.
once before on one of my previous episodes, and we talked about how how it's so it's so needed right now.
Yeah.
Because I want to say when you and I talked, it was during COVID. I think the last time we talked, it was either during COVID or like maybe the year after COVID happened, or like 2021 or something like that. When you and I talked, and you was like, now more than anything, because there's so many people that are like that were in the house with not a lot to do.
Yeah, a lot more people started to understand anxiety.
Yeah, yeah,
And I almost felt like the people who were dealing with anxiety before the pandemic got an opportunity to feel like, now you see what we're dealing with now. And then I feel like it brought more empathy for those who've been dealing with anxiety and depression, for the world to really understand what these people are going through. To not only look at them like, I don't know, just like in a negative way. It's more like, oh, I get it now.
mm-hmm.
I understand. That pandemic was
It was
that
something.
pandemic, it put the whammy on us.
It was a doozy for everybody,
Yeah.
and because of that,
Yeah.
because of the pandemic being the way it was, I will say this about the pandemic is that it opened the eyes of a lot of people in regards to the things that that they need, not necessarily the things that they wanted or
Yeah.
whatever, but the things that they needed. Like right now, again, mental health is very, very important, and the idea of now knowing that you need someone to talk to and that you need to be able to remove this anxiety, because it did bring a lot of anxiety to people.
Absolutely.
So I mean, how has your client base um expand, or has it or obviously it's expanded because we're in a brand new space now,
Yeah.
and so how has it resonated with you, that change, or that expansion, or even just like the idea of now knowing that more and more people are
I
needing
think
that.
that's what it is, though. I feel like we're having more safe spaces to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as taboo as it used to be, which opens up the door for a lot more conversations, and it's freeing a lot more people to come out and say, I think I might be dealing with depression.
Right.
And it's like, oh girl, come on, let me tell you how to, okay, you too. So I mean, the pandemic, a lot people experience a lot of pros and cons with it. We lost so many, due to it. So much has come out of it, like, understanding the real quality of life, like what is important.
Right.
My
Right.
mental health, because you didn't have anything. You didn't even have work.
That's true.
And people find their purpose in what they do, not who they are.
Yep.
You ain't got nothing to do. What you gonna do now?
What is there to do?
Soul search.
Right.
Heal. Find out. Go inward. Look at my little person. Go inward. That's what you do.
Right.
And I just had a conversation with someone, and I said, okay, it's time for a reboot. It's time for a reboot. You got to all
Start
over
over.
again. Yeah. Push
Start from scratch.
everything. Whatever you got on your plate, clean it.
Do you see that working though? Do you for some of the people that you recommend that to?
Mm-hmm.
Because oftentimes it does. Oftentimes people don't want to do the work, right? It's funny because
Oh, yes, I know.
on my way here, my family and my wife and I, we were talking,
Mm-hmm.
and I was telling her about one of my friends or whatever who was very hesitant about going to therapy, right? Very hesitant about it. Eventually, it got to a point to where he said, "Okay, I need to talk to somebody now."
Really?
Yeah, because
it's bad, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
when you recognize that you need to talk to someone, that's when you know it's bad. And so I was talking to my wife about it or whatever, and she didn't even know I was in therapy because I had been in therapy for about a year now.
Wow.
Yeah, she didn't even know, and in retrospect, I kind of feel bad not telling, because I've told her once, because I've been to therapy once before, and
Okay.
it just didn't really work out the way that it needed to, that it was supposed to, because my previous counselor, she ended up moving, and
Okay.
so it kind of like put a little bit of a damper in my spirit, and I kind of gave me a little like negativity towards, like, man,
I
I'm just
know.
not going, whatever.
I know. Oh,
But
Lord, we're going to talk
right,
about that in the future.
right, but then so last year, around September or October of last year, I had gotten to my breaking point, and it was, I was literally having panic attacks, and I forgot how panic attacks felt, and I was having them like maybe once every 2 or 3 days, and then not realizing what it was for and what it was from. And so, um, I say, okay, you know what? I need to see a therapist again. So I ended up having a therapist. Shout out to Jim Basher. He's great, an
Whoop,
amazing guy. Yeah. And so,
Wow.
but going back to my talking to my wife Tana about it, I was telling her that I'm actually seeing a therapist, and she was like, "Wow, I didn't even know." And she said, I noticed there was a change in you. She said, I noticed there was a change in you for the better, and I say, wait, so what you trying to say? I
Mm,
was bad, and she was like, no, I'm not saying that. I just noticed that there was a
it's a shift.
change. It was a shift.
Yes.
That's what she said, and she
Yes.
said, I noticed there was a shift in you, and
Mm.
like over the last about 3 months ago, or 3 or 4 months ago, or whatever, I realized that things that normally would agitate you just didn't agitate you anymore, or you would find more appropriate ways of being able to handle it. And so I'm saying all of that to say that therapy works. It works so much. Like
Oh my
I
God.
just you have no idea how many times I tell people this. Like I still have friends now who're like, man, I don't need
I
therapy
can't
for. I
even
don't need
deal with
that.
it. At this point, I'm just like,
Right.
okay.
But it works.
That's so beautiful to hear that because only the people who are actually in therapy
Mm-hmm.
can experience it.
Yep.
And the people who experience them, you don't even have to tell them that you're going. I can talk to somebody and I can tell if you've been in therapy or not.
See. Yeah.
Because that's exactly what it is. It is a shift,
It's a shift.
right?
Right.
And the conversations are important. I love the fact that mainstream media is being more um, talkative about this topic. Like it's in this nut is going crazy over there.
He's going crazy.
But he's good.
He's good.
People are talking about it at events, at Essence, I mean, it's everywhere now, and I love that.
Right.
That's a good start, and I pray to God that that continues. But it has to go past the conversation.
It does.
Because it's so individual.
Yes, it is.
I could have depression, you could have depression, but it could be totally different.
Yes.
And therapy and going on your own individual journey in healing, it's a one person thing.
It really is.
So you
It
have
really
to
is.
go beyond the conversation. And I love the fact that this podcast is going to start because I want to push the conversation, but then bring it home. What's the end goal of this podcast? To get you in the chair so you can start your work.
I love it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that then. Let's
Okay.
talk about the podcast and your venture, your foray into the
Yeah.
podcast realm, and what made you decide to finally do one? Because I know you've been talking about this
I
for a
know.
minute.
Oh, God. And before I was talking about it, I was dreaming about it. So,
Right.
yeah.
So what made you decide to say, you know what? Okay, now it's time to pull the trigger and let's go.
I think that's what it is. It's joining the conversation from a licensed therapist perspective,
Mm-hmm.
but then also that last step. This can't just be a conversation. What you gonna do about it? Bring it in. Bring it home. It doesn't have to be at Elite Therapy because we're just in Louisiana and in Georgia. It's Arkansas. I mean, it's everywhere.
Right.
Bring it home. Go find a therapist and start your journey for your children, your coworkers, your spouse, your friends.
I
You
love
gotta bring it in.
I
You
love
gotta
that.
get in therapy.
I love that.
Yeah.
And let's talk about exactly what the podcast will consist of.
Yeah. So I am obviously gonna be hosting. We're gonna have some amazing guests lined up, experts to talk about specific topics as it relates to mental health, and it could be things such as postpartum. It could be medical. It could be military.
Let's
No,
go.
no, 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 no. Well, hello there.
Hey, man. The
Go by
unofficial
sister.
moderator.
Right. Go by Eva. Go get the phone from Eva. Thank you, Papa. Bye-bye. He's so fast.
Right. I know,
But
right?
yeah, I wanted to bring a lot of experts in to talk about it. So we've here mental health, right? But I'm going deeper. I think brain health.
I like that.
Brain.
I like
It is
that.
an organ, and the organ is so intricate and is so mysterious and just, and our brains are so different.
I
I
like
want to
that.
bring an expert in so that you can get it. Beans, 1 second, baby. So that you can really get an education about the brain,
The
not just
brain.
mental health and mental illness. No,
Right.
no. The hippocampus.
Right.
Oh, but what about this part?
Right.
Eva,
I love her.
can you go in the back, honey? Thank you so much.
I love her.
Good job, Bean. Go to the back, honey.
Be careful.
Watch your feet.
Watch your step.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Go ahead. Bean. She's so wrapped up.
And we
in
keeping
shit.
all of this in too, because you know why?
It's real.
It's real life.
Oh my God.
But that's the beauty of the podcast, though. The
Oh my
podcast is
God.
going to showcase real life
Yeah.
and real life scenarios, real life situations from real life therapists, teachers,
Oh, I can't wait to talk
counselors
to
and stuff like
teachers.
that.
Oh my goodness.
all that. We all
Mhm.
look. I'm excited for it.
Thank you.
I truly am. I'm excited for it.
I'm just in a space of gratitude, but specifically, thank you to you.
Oh,
Because as I'm feeling bad, like, oh Lord, I didn't get this. Oh Lord, he's like, you good.
yeah, you good. You got this. So I'm ready for it. I can't wait.
I'm excited.
Y'all
so
stay
excited.
tuned.
Yay.
The Elite Therapy Podcast. Is it Elite Therapy
I
Podcast?
don't know.
So we don't even have a name for it yet.
Elite Therapy Podcast. That could be one. I mean, you mentioned something. We were on the phone. It was, what was the title? I said, you said it, I didn't. You
Yes.
said it, I did. But then you said something on the phone.
I said something else. What was it that I said?
cannot
You wrote it
remember.
down
I
too.
did write it down. It's in my notes.
Yeah, we're gonna put it on there. So
Okay.
whatever it is that that I
this
said,
is
I can't
so-
remember. But
Oh God, this is such the beginning stage. Like, what are we doing? Do we even know what we're doing?
no, we just talking. We just having a conversation because that's what it's all about.
It
It's all about
is.
having conversations and uncovering things,
Yeah.
uncovering certain aspects of your life.
In
And
a safe space, though.
safe
Yeah,
space.
non-judgmental.
Yeah,
Because we're gonna be talking about some stuff, Jack.
I know, right?
And I'm gonna be Chris Brown in it. Please don't judge me. Don't. You might not want
Right.
to do that.
Like my like my wife said, just don't judge me in the morning, okay? Don't judge me in the morning.
Lord, that's a.
Y'all, thank y'all so
Yes,
much.
thank
Thank y'all so much, and we
you.
gonna be ready for this podcast. This soon to be titled podcast
I know, right?
with Ariana. Yeah. Peace out, y'all.